Human Action Comics by Lilburne, an exposition of Austrian economics. Issue number 1, The Basics. For more works by Lilburne, visit Summa Anthropica at anthropica.blogspot.com. Hi, I'm Lilburne, and I'd like to introduce you to Austrian economics. Don't worry, that's not nearly as boring as it sounds. Austrian economics doesn't mean I'm going to be discussing the unemployment rate of Vienna. Austrian economics is a school of thought. Its chief early developers happen to have been from Austria. But there have been plenty of non-Austrian Austrians as well. There are sub-schools within Austrian economics. The tradition I will explore is Austrian economics as formulated by Ludwig von Mises in his treatise Human Action, 1949, and Murray Rothbard in his treatise Man, Economy, and State, 1962. Nearly all Austrian economics is deduced from a single concept, the concept of action. Human action is purposeful behavior. Human Action, Chapter 1. Behavior is purposeful if it has an end, a goal or aim. The end, telos, that for the sake of which a thing is done. Physics, Book 2. Strictly speaking, the end, goal, or aim of any action is always the relief from a felt uneasiness. Human Action, Chapter 4. Relief from a felt uneasiness can also be called the satisfaction of a want. Mises considered the concept of action so central to economics that he considered economics to be a branch of praxeology, the science of action. Praxis is Greek for action. No treatment of economic problems proper can avoid starting from acts of choice. Economics becomes a part, although the hitherto best elaborated part, of a more universal science, praxeology. Human Action. The elements of a man's environment which he believes can be used to reach his ends are called means, or goods. Let's consider an example. And to keep things simple, let's consider the action of a single isolated human, like the castaway Robinson Crusoe. Crusoe awakens on his island. The first things that enter his consciousness are a hunger in his belly and a chill in his bones. And so, even before opening his eyes, Crusoe has two ends he wants to achieve. One, to eat, and two, to get warm. As soon as he opens his eyes, he sees several goods, that is, potential means to his ends. One of the goods he sees is a coconut on the ground. If he were to eat the coconut, it would not be an end in and of itself. Rather, it would be merely a means to the end of alleviating his hunger. A good which is directly usable to attain an end is called a consumer's good. If the coconut in front of Crusoe is already busted open from falling from its tree, it may be considered directly usable to attain Crusoe's end of alleviating his hunger. Therefore, it may be called a consumer's good. A good which is usable to achieve an end only in combination with some other means is called a producer's good, or a factor of production. For example, Crusoe's coconut might not be open. It's not directly usable, so it's not a consumer's good. Crusoe will need to use a stone to break it open before eating it. He would thus be using the unopened coconut, a producer's good, in combination with a stone, producer's good, to produce an open coconut, consumer's good. But the unopened coconut and the stone are not the only factors of production involved. Crusoe's own time and effort, that is, his labor, are also required. Labor is also a factor of production. Thus are consumers' goods produced, but factors of production, producers' goods, can themselves be produced. Produced factors of production are called capital goods. For example, Crusoe's stone might not be sharp enough to open the coconut. He might need to use a cobble as a hammerstone to sharpen it. The sharpened stone thus produced for the purpose of further production can be considered a capital good. Factors of production which are not produced are called land, which, oddly enough, can include water and air. Thus, factors of production can be divided into three categories: land, labor, capital. Goods can also be categorized according to their remoteness to the ends for which they are means. Consumers' goods are also called goods of the first order. Producers' goods, which produce consumers' goods, are called goods of the second order. Producers' goods which produce goods of the second order are called goods of the third order, and so on. Thank you for reading the first issue of Human Action Comics by Lilburne. In the next issue, Value Theory. Please visit anthropica.blogspot.com for updates and for reading lists. For more on the topics covered in this issue, scroll down to the reading list section on the left and click on Methodology and Fundamentals.